The first time we met your agent Salisbury was round this time last year. Big, broad government man, suit and button-up, big chunky rock of a watch on his wrist. That was the thing I remember best about him, I'll be honest. The way he'd keep checking his watch when he was talking to you, like he was afraid you'd run like a deer if you locked eyes too long. Didn't make him look like any less of a weirdo when he asked us rangers to time how long he spent in the park. Well, no offense, but y'all tend to ask a lot from us. So when he start making these kinds of requests to our staff, I figured we'd treat him just the same as all the other weirdo feds we see around these parts. Ask no questions, expect no answers. The usual. He did this right up until today, I suppose. Started becoming a bit of an inside joke among us. The ones who didn't have to deal with him in person, anyway. If you had to shake hands with him, you'd stop finding him funny pretty damn quick. The stench after one of his little trips was god fucking awful. Pardon my French. Like pigs rotten in the sun. Of course we knew it was odd. We ain't stupid. He never went into the woods smelling like that. So the question was how the hell he got that way. We could guess, sure, but nothing we could cook up explained that stench. Then he went missing. See, maybe under any other circumstances we figured he'd be able to take care of himself, but we'd been under the pump for a few months. People were disappearing all over the country, and could you blame us for getting antsy about it? We always try to stay out of Fed business, but he was out for almost 7 something hours. He'd never been out for that long before, so we figured we could spare a little time to look for him. I figured worst that happens is if we get yelled at for intruding on federal matters. Worst that happens if we don't is y'all come down on us for not doing our jobs as park staff. So I took Joan and Hall and I set off. Didn't know where he went, sure, but we had a general idea. What heading he was going, that kind of thing. Besides, we found people with way less information. Spent about half an hour walking before we came across this formation. No, sir, it's not on the official books. Wasn't even on our unofficial ones, neither. So don't you start thinking it's the left hand not telling the right what it's doing. Big limestone protrusion, odd formation given the geology of the rest of the area, so that already had my dander up. I saw what looked like either some crusted blood or some discolored moss at the tip, and well, that gave me a hunch about where he was. I told my buds to wait up the front and I went to check out the cave. Figured all I needed was a quick in and out to check if he was inside. Wasn't planning to embark on a cave-in trip while I was down there. Didn't notice much wrong for the first few feet. Moss the wrong color? Sure, but that was something you really wanted to turn tail and run for? No. Nothing seemed too off till I gone around the first corner. That was when I started seeing they they weren't remains per se, no bones or anything, but there were leftovers. Wedding rings, plastic buttons, spectacles. But I still keep going, all the way up till I saw the watch. You probably know the one. Big silver thing, beautiful band. Cracked face, blood-stained. So I had a choice right then and there. I could pick up the watch and run, tell the crew at base he'd been, I guess mugged somehow, or I could keep going, see if I could find anything else about how he'd lost it, or see if maybe he was still breathing. Don't know how long I spent thinking about that choice, but I made up my mind right quick when I heard the noise coming from down the cave walls. Like Thanksgiving dinner, sir. Snapping a wishbone. Now, this changes things a little. Makes me think there's an animal in there somehow. and that's why he's not coming out. Might explain the rest of the missing persons too, judging by the size of the hull. So I figured I'd be best served trying to find out what exactly mm, sent them to their maker, not to be crass. I found it. Don't know if I can really say what it was, but I found it all right. I saw the suit first. Small mercy, I guess. Still looked like a person could be wearing it up until the rest of it stepped out from round the corner. Tall? Tall, yeah. Not pale, more like the skin was like it was all stretched out over the bones, kinda sausage-y. You get that? Arms didn't bend in the sleeves either. Legs neither. Big fist-sized eyes that looked like a fly's. Thought it had sunglasses on at first, until the lens fluttered. If it cared about the dark at all, I didn't notice. It just snapped around, fixed me right in the eyes, like it was about to pounce on me. Give me a moment to remember the exact wording and I'll have it.
Our agreement is ended.
It was one of those moments where you're too scared to do the smart thing, where you're so afraid you can't even run for it. I was running on autopilot, guess, 'cause I didn't even realize I had my gun out till it went off. Made a hell of a mess, all right. 2 shots, center mass. Work on most anything man-sized at that range. Though I couldn't exactly say what I ran into falls under that umbrella. Yes, sir. I'd appreciate the drink something fierce, sir.